Ajit Kumar Jha, CEO of Power Pixar, and I'm doing this program for the public global. And today our focus is going to be Parliament, especially the upper house of Parliament, the Rajya Sabha. A serious controversy erupted in the Rajya Sabha on Friday after Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar had announced that a wad of notes was actually found on the seat allotted to Congress MP Abhishek Manu Singhvi. In fact, he pointed out that the seat number is 222. And he said that he was quite shocked by what had happened, and he said that there was a sabotage check going on. CISF officials every morning come and sort of comb the entire upper house and the lower house for security reasons, and that's where they found it. Now, the amount that he stated is a mere 50,000 rupees, because he said they were 500 rupees notes and essentially about 100 notes. So that amounts to rupees 50,000 in cash. And he also said that he doesn't remember whether, or he hasn't checked yet, whether that amount is, the cash is fake or real. No investigation had taken place, but he went ahead and announced the name of Abhishek Manu Singhvi. The Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge pointed out that if an investigation was not done in this case, and there was no way to ascertain the money belongs to which person, then the name of the member of parliament should not have been revealed, because it amounts to tarnishing the image of the person, because you are not even sure if the money belonged to Abhishek Manu Singhvi. When Abhishek Manu Singhvi was asked about it, he said, look, I don't even know where this money came from. He pointed out that he had come the previous day to the parliament only around 12:57. He barely stayed for 3 minutes, because by that time it was over, the session. So he went and had lunch with a certain gentleman with whom he stayed for half an hour. And from there, he straight went to the Supreme Court. And he pointed out that I just don't know anything about the cash. And in fact, he demanded a thorough inquiry into the entire incident. And he also added that if such things are happening in Parliament, then in that case, let's have a glass, some kind of a bridge or a construction around each seat and lock it up, and we should have the key, because as he pointed out, people can throw notes, people can cash, people can, in fact, he said people can even throw ganja there or something else. They can just put some stolen something. So, each member of parliament will be responsible for their own seat. But the sad thing about is the way it erupted in Rajya Sabha. It took a very ugly form, and there were attacks from the treasury benches, and they began talking about the corruption of the Congress party, taking that issue into account. And then all kinds of serious allegations were made. And finally, the entire thing ended up in such a manner that the Rajya Sabha had to be adjourned. Now, think of it for a moment. One day when the Rajya Sabha is adjourned, there are estimates that the country actually loses several thousand crores. In fact, according to one estimate by a Congress party member, it's almost amounting to 24 crores. The entire session in 2000 2015, when the entire session was signed by, it amounted to several thousand crores. So, and what is at stake here? Rupees 50,000. Think for a moment, if this entire incident is played up by international television, like say the CNN, uh, or say the BBC, or Al Jazeera, or Fox TV, or any channel in the West, what will they argue? They will say, look at this economy. India claims to be the fourth largest economy in the world, surging at 7.2% growth rate, is supposed to be the next emerging superpower of Asia. And what are they fighting about in the upper house of Indian Parliament? About $600. I mean, something 550 to $600 is what 50,000 rupees amounts to. I mean, isn't it a big joke? What will people think? That the entire day was adjourned, the Rajya Sabha, based on such a silly issue. It is possible that someone stacked a huge amount of money in their pockets, which simply fell down from their pockets. I mean, 50,000 rupees is not even the banks ask you if you go and deposit to basically have Aadhaar card or anything like that. It's a rather small sum of money in today's world. I mean, a starting salary, let's say, of an assistant professor in the university is actually more than 50,000 rupees per month. So it's almost, I would call it, much ado about nothing. And the much ado took such an ugly form that the Rajya Sabha, and later, of course, even in the Lok Sabha, there were all kinds of attacks from each side. And if you look at this session of Parliament, almost every day, the opposition and the treasury benches, especially in this case, the BJP versus the Congress, are at each other's throats. And what is the issue? The issue is that Congress has been raising the issue of Mr. Adani and his links with the Prime Minister. They allege, they call it the Modani link. And now to basically deflect from that, the BJP starts bringing up newer issues. Like, for example, Member of Parliament Nishikant Dubey raised the issue of the links between the American billionaire George Soros, the deep state of America, and Rahul Gandhi. Now, these are all allegations flying, around. It is almost like your corruption versus my corruption. Allegation from this side, allegation from the other side. And in the process, nothing serious is being discussed in Parliament. It's a total sort of chaos, and the behavior of the members of Parliament is really, really embarrassing. In fact, the chairman of the upper house of the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Dhankar, who's supposed to be a very sort of senior politician, and he should know the rules of the house, he did not allow the leader of the opposition to actually speak, Rahul Gandhi. And the moment he was speaking, he turned off the mic. And after that, when people protested, for example, a senior member like the actress Jaya Bhaduri, when she protested, she's from the Samajwadi Party, she's not from the Congress Party, and she has been a member of Parliament for the last few times. When she protested, for example, the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, Dhankar, said, "Oh, I know you are celebrity, but I don't care." So Jaya Bhaduri was so upset by his behavior, the way he was talking about the leader of the opposition, using rather unparliamentary language, that later she came out in front of the press and she demanded an apology from the chairman. She said he doesn't give a damn whether you are a woman member of Parliament, a senior citizen. She said, I merely asked him a question. And the way he the way he shouts and screams and he treats us as if we are nothing. She said, I don't consider myself a celebrity. I just consider myself a member of parliament. But the behavior of Chairman Dhankar is actually alarming. In fact, in contrast to him, the Lok Sabha speaker, although some issues have been raised against him as well in the past, Mr. Birla, but he is a much more amiable person. He keeps sort of smiling and laughing and trying to bring some kind of, pacify the members of parliaments on both sides. But Mr. Dhankar kind of just loses himself. We don't know his medical condition, whether he's suffering from some kind of blood pressure or what, but he just loses himself. I mean, that should not be, the behavior of the upper house, which is supposed to be an august body. And Chairman Dhankar is a very, very senior member. In fact, he's in hierarchy, he comes right after the president. So this is causing enormous embarrassment. And at this moment, the situation is such, other than the fact that I pointed out much ado about nothing, that small amount of cash of rupees 50,000, nothing is happening in parliament. Every time serious questions are raised, let's say regarding MSP or regarding the farmers' protests, or regarding various violence cases happening in the country, whether it's in Manipur or in Uttar Pradesh, immediately there is a freeze up and they turn around, and then the allegations begin against Soros giving money to Rahul Gandhi, some media house from France is cited. Now, no evidence is given by any side. That is the trouble. These are mere allegations, and these are diversionary tactics in a way to stop the Congress party and the leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, and other members of parliament from raising issues of corruption against Adani. Now, the thing with Mr. Adani is that the corruption cases has not been raised for the first time. They have been raised by, the judiciary in the United States of America, where he's supposed to be going to face a serious trial. In the past also, we know that there were allegations against his entire empire. Now, and we have seen how the stock market has behaved. So that is a rather serious issue. But to talk about other people, whether it is Soros or someone else, it becomes silly. Why does it become silly? Look, industrialists all over the world do finance various projects in terms of whatever they find interesting. For example, Fox TV, Star TV, Disney TV is owned by Rupert Murdoch. Now, suppose it does a story about some human rights violation in India, then we cannot point out and say that, look, here is the deep state of Australia, because Mr. Murdoch is an Australian citizen, conniving with whatever some industrialist against Indian national interest. In the same way, Soros has been funding human rights issues not from today, but from decades. I mean, he's a billionaire. He believes in serious human rights issues, and he keeps funding all kinds of left liberal causes all around the world. In fact, the Indian ones are very recent. Now, without serious evidence of any malified intent or a serious evidence of corruption or some kind of illegal funding, one cannot just keep alleging that and just make it an issue in parliament. If it is made an issue in some chai shop, one can understand, but this is the Indian parliament. So the entire tactics is basically diversionary, to move away from the attacks of the opposition, to marginalize the opposition. And this is a tactics one has seen for a while in Indian parliament. What tends to happen, because the Bharatiya Janata Party in the past had the big numbers in Lok Sabha and even in the Rajya Sabha. So in the beginning of the sessions of parliament, this sort of attacks counter attacks happen, lot of drama takes place, nothing gets passed, and finally at the fag end, like 2-3 days without any debate, several bills will be passed. Now that is something not very healthy for Indian parliamentary the Indian parliamentary tradition. This is supposed to be the legislature. This is where all the top legislation is made. The prime minister is present, leader of the opposition is present, several senior ministers are present. The budget is passed for example, in the lower house. In such an august chamber, if all you do is attack each other, make a lot of noise over rupees 50,000 found near a seat. Okay, go ahead for the sake of probity and do an investigation. But suppose the entire investigation ends up in nothing, and all you have done is lost several days in parliament in the upper house over rupees 50,000. I think at the end it becomes like a joke. So let me end here and request the various members of parliament, especially the chairman of the upper house, to please conduct the parliament in a way that helps the country and doesn't make a mockery of our system of parliamentary democracy. Thank you very much.